know a place where over 100,000 people can get together to celebrate a common cause. They come to learn about courage, determination, and loyalty. I know a place that provides a medium for parents to pass on traditions to their children. I know a place where the hue of the congregation's attire on a cool night in October sticks in the mind of newcomers for the rest of their lives. And on a few rare nights, the voices of the past can sometimes ring louder in your head than the thousands of people that gathered there just hours before. That was an excerpt from a piece Daniel Hudson wrote in a Bleacher Report article about Neyland Stadium back in 2012. In my head, it read like a poem, talking about how special the stadium that sits on the banks of the Tennessee River is. This past weekend, I got to not only experience my first Tennessee game, but my first SEC college football game. As I sat in the stadium looking around, all I could think about was the history behind the stadium's walls, being a college football history nut myself. So, I decided to take a deep dive and thought, hey, if I'm going to do research on this anyways, there has to be a group of people out there who want to know the same information as me. So, I decided to make this video, the history of Neyland Stadium. Originally, the Tennessee Volunteers football team played at Baldwin Park, which was located between Grand Avenue and Dale Avenue. From 1908 to 1920, the team played at Waite Field. The origins of what would become Shields Walk-In Field at Neyland Stadium can be traced back to 1912. The university formed the realty company that year and held an option on 7 acres of land until the university could complete the purchase and develop a physical education athletic field. The financing for the plan would not be complete until 1917, and contributions were solicited with donations averaging $10, which would be $216.09 today. Tennessee students pledged $2,000, equivalent to $43,217.03, and 2,000 days of labor. Colonel W.S. Shields and his wife, Alice Watkins Shields, stepped up to pay the project's $22,453 debt. Shields was the president of the Knoxville City Bank and a university trustee who said he would pay the money if the school could raise money to prepare and equip the field. Tennessee's trustees voted to accept his offer and would later name the field in honor of the couple. In July of 1920, the trustees voted to build a grandstand at the cost of $20,000. In March of 1921, a campus day was organized as classes were dismissed so students could prep the field for a baseball game scheduled 3 days later. The project was done by noon the following day, and the baseball game was played as scheduled against Cincinnati. The first football game on Shields Watkins Field was played on September 24, 1921, a 27-0 win over Emory and Henry. The capacity was 3,200 seats at the time, with a permanent 17-row grandstand on the west side. Between 1926 and 1938, there were 4 expansions that almost grew the capacity tenfold. The expansions raised the capacity of the stadium from 3,200 people to 31,390 people, occurring on both the east and the west side and the northwest corner. The east side expansion included dorms for 128 men, half of which were for athletes, the Tea Club reception room, and a band practice room under the stands. In 1936, an overflow crowd of 20,000 people saw the Vols beat Duke, and the crowd filled the stadium the following year for the Alabama game. The largest expansion of the stadium came in 1946 at the conclusion of World War II, when General Robert Neeland returned home from war. The plans were created for an expansion on the south end of the stadium, making the stadium a horseshoe. The expansion included more dorm rooms, offices for the athletic department personnel, and a new dressing room for visiting teams. In 1948, a crowd of 48,000 fans filled the stadium for a game against Alabama, and a crowd of 52,000 fans were in attendance for the North Carolina game later that year. The next expansion would not come for over a decade. For the 1962 season, the university would add an upper deck on the west side and a new press box. Unfortunately, General Neeland would not live to see the project complete, passing away from liver cancer in March. He received reports on the progress of the project up until his death. The stadium was named in honor of him that year, and in 2010 his statue between Gate 15A and 17 was dedicated. According to Tennessee's Sports Information Department, the new press box was added because the previous Shields Walk-In Press Coop was consistently named one of the 3 worst press areas in the country when it came to college football venues. An aide was quoted at the time saying the new press box would be the best in sports. I hope it improves the quality of writing down there. Between 1968 and 1980, 4 expansions would take place. The first was the addition of an upper deck on the east end in 1968, as well as the addition of an artificial field surface. Then the upper deck on the south end in 1972 and in 1976. Through the 72 expansion, Tennessee saw their first Neyland Stadium night game in the season opener against Penn State. In 1980, the stadium became a bowl when the north end of the lower deck was built. In 1987, a new press box and executive suites opened during the September 5th game against Colorado State. This expansion replaced the press box that was built in 1962 and was named after Colonel Tom Elam, who was a longtime trustee and new athletic board member at Tennessee. The new press box featured 4 levels for leased suites, box seating for the official guests of the university and athletic department, and facilities for the print and broadcast media. There are 6 total elevators in the west box, with 4 serving the skybox and 2 serving the press area. In 1994, Tifway Bermuda grass, specifically Tifway 419 Bermuda Hybrid for my grass nuts out there, replaced the artificial surface. According to Tennessee, the new grass was built to the United States Golf Association's golf green construction specifications and is mowed to 3/4 inches. It takes 90 gallons of paint to line the field, paint the checkerboard in the end zone, and paint the power tee at midfield. The power tee at the 50-yard line made its debut in 1998, replacing the previous used interlocking UT logo. The stadium's last major expansion came after the 1995 season with the addition of the north end upper decks, which raised the stadium capacity to over 100,000 seats for the first time, with the exact number being 102,455 seats, making it the 4th largest stadium in college football, behind Michigan Stadium, Penn State's Beaver Stadium, and Texas A&M's Kyle Field. In 2004, Neyland Stadium saw its largest crowd to date when 109,061 people attended the Florida game. Also in 2004, former athletic director Mike Hamilton announced a master renovation plan to prep the stadium for the next 75 years. Phase 1 was completed in 2006, costing $26 million, and included infrastructure work, renovation of the north lower concourse, concourse expansion, and new restrooms and concessions. And construction of the East Club renovation of the lower west concourse was done in time for the 2008 season, along with locker room improvements, construction of the Laura Sella Center, the field level Letterman Room, and the Stockley Family Media Center. In 2009, renovations were done to the top level concourse on the lower west sidelines. Scissor ramps leading to the west upper deck were removed, and additions of elevators and stairwells were added on the west side. Improvements to the west tower skybox were also done, along with an overhaul of the press box and broadcast center. The West Club section was also added. In 2010, the Gate 21 Plaza was completed. Wrought iron and brick facade along the north and west exterior of the stadium was added, and the Tennessee Terrace on the west upper deck was finished. In November of 2019, Tennessee announced updated plans for the continued renovation to Neyland Stadium and the Anderson Training Center, the Vols football complex. Plans to renovate the south and east side of Neyland Stadium were initially approved in November 2017, but after Philip Fulmer took over as athletic director, Tennessee hit pause on the project, subject to further review. According to what the Vols announced last fall, the revised plans aims to improve fan experience, will remain within the initial $180 million budget, and will be funded entirely by private contributions, meaning no state or federal funds will be used. The new plan, which began last fall with the addition of new LED ribbon boards, included phases of improvement each year through 2023. Plans for 2021 include Laurel Cellar Center's renovation, converting the current press box on the west side into an open-air donor lounge and moving press facilities to the east side. TV and radio crews will remain on the west side. For 2022, updated plans include South Concourse renovation, the addition of a north side video board, and the rebuilding of the lower west side grandstand. Substantial renovations are scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2023, with fan plazas at Gate 4 and Gate 10, added indoor-outdoor gathering spaces, and amenity areas serving select food and beverages. The stadium is also planning to move the stadium and dorms under the stadium out, telling WVLT this will be done to positively improve the game day and fan experience for all of Neyland Stadium, delivering a particular meaningful upgrade for fans seated in the south end zone. The North Video Board also offers a more immersive and expanded experience to Vols faithful to secure seats in the upper north decks area. Tennessee also just announced a $30 million upgrade to the Anderson Training Center last week. Overall, Neyland Stadium is one of the most historical stadiums in college football, being around for over 100 years now. But what do you think? What stadium should I do next? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.